Hi, good afternoon, everyone. That was a very enlightening panel discussion, right? And as I represent Ariba, been with them for more than 11 years, I couldn't help comparing the trends that we noticed in the retail with that of Ariba. In fact, my new punchline is going to be that I've seen Ariba evolve from being a Kirana store to a supermarket, right? So that's what we used to do several years back and the business that we do today. So as the introduction goes, I represent Ariba. We're part of the SAP family. Very happy to be here. And I also know that I'm between all of us and the lunch break. But let's also be grateful it's not a 45-minute presentation. So the broad objective of this presentation is just to cover what Ariba does for our retail customers globally and in India. What does our solution suite look like? How do customers benefit? What are the case studies, the benchmarks, and if we can work together, how can that be? So that is broadly what I wanted to cover today. Interestingly, when I used to meet executives from our prospect customers, C-level executives around 7 to 8 years back, the general discussion used to start with, have you ever seen how an eBay works? Have you gone online and seen how Amazon works? And that used to be our benchmark to tell a customer that when you negotiate with your suppliers and when you transact with your suppliers, how would you like to get an eBay and an Amazon experience into your own internal company processes? And that used to be a very interesting discussion. Now, of course, companies are far more mature. Even if I meet an 80-year-old chairman of a company who possibly may not be very computer savvy, but he knows very well what online purchasing is all about. But Ariba also has moved on. Right, so from being a sourcing and procurement solutions provider, we are now a network company where we believe that companies that have matured in addressing the internal processes of a company so well because of better talent, better processes, made it watertight. But the moment these transactions move outside the four walls of an enterprise, when you deal with customers, when you deal with suppliers, when you deal with your banking partners, most of these transactions tend to fail. They don't meet up to the rigors of the internal processes. And a lot of research on this topic estimates believe that globally it runs into hundreds of billions of dollars, the inefficiencies here. So one, look at it as a problem. Second, look at it as an opportunity. So Ariba over the last 6 to 7 years has grown into becoming a network company which allows its customers to facilitate transactions with their external third-party companies, right? Today, Ariba standalone, the Ariba network does around $700 billion worth of US dollars, helping customers and suppliers transact with each other. So even today, when we meet the best-in-class managed companies in India, to take an example, 80% of the POs and invoices are all manual, right? So there's a great care taken that my PO is perfect. But after that, how does it go to a supplier? How do my suppliers confirm the POs? How do I receive invoices? How do I match those invoices against POs and contracts? It's a terrifically manual process, right? And with each of these processes, manual it may be, there are a lot of inefficiencies attached to it, right? And that's what we are trying to solve. The objective is not to say that there are pockets of excellence, like there may be a company which has implemented a fantastic EDI program, but to talk about a global mass adoption of best practices where you have hundreds and thousands of customers and suppliers exchanging seamlessly across a network, a many-to-many kind of a network, all facilitated through the cloud. Just to give some benchmarks more specific to retail, right? And it's a common approach that we take, but every industry has got some unique characteristics. So most of the Ariba solutions come with a hard-coded ROI where we talk about a business case, right, as part of the sales cycle, right? But when we talk of achievements that we have received, having worked with dozens of customers globally and in India, when we talk about, let me take some few examples. Let's take merchandise spend and non-merchandise spend, right? So the non-merchandise spends are spends where there is a greater amount of spend that can be managed. So there are more number of suppliers out there in the market than a typical customer would like to deal with. So these are categories where a good amount of spend can be negotiated, and we have had customers using the Ariba platform to negotiate anywhere between 4 to 15% of savings, some categories running far into higher double-digit numbers when it comes to negotiating such kind of spend. Second, let's take a certain category. Let's take corrugated boxes. It's a great spend for retail customers. Can I do an online auction with 25 suppliers online where I, as the main buyer, negotiate with the paper companies for the paper rate and I only negotiate with the suppliers for their value adding money? Can I do it in a fair, transparent and a highly authentic manner? So that's the kind of business we are talking about. Manually, it's impossible to talk to even 6 suppliers in a true manner. Post that, I've got a great rate card with vendors. How do I now make sure that all my buying people in my organization now buy out of that contract, right? So customers that use Ariba, they love something what we call as a tiered contract, right? I buy 10 items at rupees 10, the 11th item onwards is 9 rupees. The moment I buy the 100th item, it should be 8 rupees. But we just don't see that happening too much, right? The only reason is because a typical system does not manage the complexity of a tiered pricing. So again, the difference is having a solution like Ariba gets something what we call as proactive compliance. So the moment hundreds of buying procurement folks, the person who's doing the 11th item buying, the purchase requisition itself gets generated at 9 rupees, rather than a reactive compliance where once the loop is closed, I then capture discounts. So one, getting savings, clearly tangible savings identified, and then making sure those savings hit my bottom line through a more validated network, right? Then having catalogs in place. So these are multiple ways on how we can address. Coming to the case of purchase orders and invoices. We have had customers who say that my invoices now hit my system directly and they are automatically reconciled with the contract. Again, a case in point. Let's say you've got a maintenance contract, someone's come and replaced a bulb in your organization as part of a maintenance contract. Why would you even release a purchase order for this, right? So when we ask these questions, customers say if there is no purchase order, then accounts does not release a payment, right? So we are talking about a case where there's an invoice being sent by the vendor. After the fact, PO is being created so that the vendor gets paid, right? Whereas in an Ariba system, the vendor accesses the contract directly and there is an invoice which is being raised against the contract. The system ratifies it. So in India, we don't talk about labor arbitrage. It's much easier talking about to a foreign company where you say, why are you having these 6 people doing it? But here it's a question of dealing with hundreds of vendors, possibly thousands of vendors, millions of invoices, right? And purchase orders and the documents, and making sure I have a great system to pass on every possible benefit to a supplier and thereby getting even cash discounts if needed. So if the buyer has got good extra cash, can I get better pricing from vendors? If the vendor needs money, can he offer a get a discount for early payments from buyers? So this is the kind of intense collaborative commerce that Ariba is talking about. This is a 3-day presentation, but I'm not getting into details about it, but just to show that it's a complete cloud solution. Customers can buy bits and pieces. Not all customers have all solutions. So if there is a specific need for sourcing, specific need for contract compliance, specific needs on the financial and accounting side from a CFO perspective, our team gets involved and we can then identify which are the typical pain points to start a roadmap. So roadmap doesn't mean end all. We have customers who start today and they get tangible benefits within 2 to 3 weeks, and then they start building on it and then finally encompassing a wide variety of solutions. As I said, retail is a sweet spot for us, right? So globally, every customer, every company worth its name uses Ariba, pretty much the entire suite of applications. Because this is an industry which is very competitive, it is growing, companies need products that are scalable, right? Without having to invest in IT hardware, without having to invest in retraining of resources. It's very intuitive, so as a solution it blends to such kind of industries. It blends, like I said, where there are many number of trading partners involved. So that's it. India, as a retail focus, we focused just a couple of years back, and we've already got around nearly a dozen vendors, customers who are using Ariba very successfully. So we are very confident that the story that we have globally is going to make our markets India, and we are more than happy to engage with any one of you as well. I also want to make a quick introduction to our partners. So Tech Mahindra is one of our partners. By the way, Ariba does a lot of work through partners. That's the business I represent. Nearly 50% of our business across APJ is delivered via partners. But it makes all the more sense when we are doing a cloud solution. So Tech Mahindra, for one, needs no introduction. They are an ERP company. They are a great systems integrator. Interestingly, they also have a very good, strong sourcing and procurement practice, right? Something what we call as a strategy transformation or a BPO. So when these two companies, Ariba and Tech Mahindra, come together, we offer something called as a procurement transformation as a service. So companies, when they engage with Ariba and with a partner, a lot of the transition processes get managed by partners. So for example, one of the core benchmarks of our solution is how do suppliers embrace our solution. So supplier enablement is a key. Partners take over that responsibility. Partners take over the role of managing catalogs. So as far as the buyer, when they are buying, it's a holistic solution that they buy with best-in-class processes getting managed by partners. It makes a lot more sense. So again, please reach out to our booth where we have Tech Mahindra employees there. We are there, and it can be a great insight into how we deliver value-added benefits to our customers. This is just a case in point of a customer in India where we implemented along with Tech Mahindra across an APAC-wide implementation of our entire source to pay and terrific tangible savings. So many a time the tangible savings run into multiple times ROI. Very rarely any other IT investment that gives a bang for the buck like what we do at Ariba. And again, companies which have invested in SAP already or SAP SRM, then we have integrated something called as a rapid deployment system, where to onboard your present processes onto the Ariba network is much less of a challenge. So it's much faster. The deployment happens in less than 4 weeks, and there's unlimited supplier enablement support. So we are trying to build a much more stronger solution offering from us within the SAP family. And lastly, just some food for thought. This is the second last slide I have, but these are the various areas that we can help, right? So whether it is on whatever goals that you need to achieve, like I said earlier, if it's on the understanding your spend, where are the sourcing opportunities that they lie? How do I discover new suppliers on the Ariba network? How can they help me? How do I now start building long-term contracts with them? How do I start building a procurement transformation within a company? In each of these areas, we are happy to work with you, okay? And we can put one of the best-in-class practices to make sure that we have a procurement roadmap just for your company. And just the last slide I have, which is one of the more innovative things that we have done in the recent past, is our tie-up with eBay. So Ariba has tied up with eBay. We have a live demo at our booth where a customer who buys the Ariba network get instant access to the thousands, hundreds of thousands of suppliers and the products that eBay has got, right? So we are trying to bring the B2C network that an eBay has got onto the B2B platform that Ariba provides to its customers. Hopefully we will see many more such transactions, but there's a live demo that's going on outside. Okay, and with this, happy eating, happy lunch. I'm starving myself. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, well, after that very interesting presentation, I'm of course going to invite once again Mr. Rajesh Khubchandani to please come on stage and present our speaker, Mr. V.R. Shankar, with a token of gratitude to thank him for his valuable presence. And can we have a round of applause, please?
Thank you.